Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the final sculpting class for our project. So today we're gonna be going through. First, I'll show you everything I did to finish off my hat from last week, or 2 weeks ago, since we took a week off in between. And then I'm going to go through different strategies and materials for finishing your projects, from how to make the base to how to attach all those accessories we've made, and stuff like that. So, and also how to, and this is something I kind of learned later, but how to finish the presentation all the way around. So even the thinking of the underside of the piece of wood, and how to make the bottom look nice too. So, and I'll just kind of show you guys the different strategies and things I've come up with over time to do that. So, because it's all about the whole presentation, right? What a nice professional finish all the way around. So, anyways, get into it. So let's see, I think the first thing, actually, let me grab it, is back when I had you make all those accessories and I told you to hold off. I think am I missing a light? I'm missing a light. So missing a filter. Hold on 1 second. There we go. I am missing a light. Hold on 1 second. One second, please. That's better. It was green because of the filter not being on. That's the reflection of the green screen. Okay, so there we go. So this is what I did with my hat. There might be still some more that I want to do, but it's in a finished state as it is right here. So I used the pieces of cardboard for these little flaps here. And grab this box here. Let's move this stuff out of the way. We're gonna go over this a little bit. Alright, so we made all those accessories. Mushroom, dagger. All right, let's just grab some pouches here. It's part of a necklace thing. Not sure if we'll use that. We'll see. An Alarak hand. No, I'm just kidding. Oh yeah, this bag right here. I got a little scroll we can use. A few smaller pouches. Let's just grab those. That's good. A severed head. Okay, so we have our accessories here. I want to show you guys the best way that I found to actually attach them really securely. You could just, technically you could just super glue them on, but you could just find the place that they go in and then you just kind of super glue them. It's a good spot for that. So you just kind of decide where you want everything to go. I could see actually a lot of the stuff being attached to his pack or something like this, you know. Which, like I said, you could just super glue it on there, but that's actually not, you know, it's not the most sturdy connection. This is the way I like to attach things. Grab the clay glue here. Take some of this and let's get a brush. Oh, okay, grab the wrong one. Paint some clay glue on the back side. I'm also going to paint clay glue where it's going to attach. Clean up this drip of glue. Now, what you do here is you want to securely attach some clay to the back side of the object first. Like so. Like that. It's really on there. And then you put the object where you want it to go. Let's take a look at it before we smush it into place. And then give it a really firm smushing there. And it's gonna kind of mushroom out the excess. Still missing one of my favorite sculpting tools, so I'll have to do without it there. So now you can you just kind of take your tool and just kind of ride it along the edge here, trim away the excess. And then you can just kind of like blend and sculpt things so they match up. Yeah. And then once you bake that for the final time, it'll be locked in. So that's about it. That's about all you do right there. And you could do that with all these pieces. So clay glue first, then a little blob of clay, and then clay glue on the surface where it's gonna go. And it's almost like sandwich it. And you squish it until it like really mushrooms out, and that means it's really attached. Then you just sculpt the underside and carve away the excess. So get all your accessories attached, and then the frame on the backpack. Yeah. I think I'm going to use mixed media for. So I like to have an assortment of just wooden dowel rods and stuff like that. I have a whole collection of them. I don't like to use balsa wood, which is what this is made out of. This is balsa wood. Don't use this. I like to use this stuff, which I think is like poplar. But you'll find this at any hobby or craft stores. You'll see like assorted packs of different square stock or you can order it online. But you want it to be nice, like hardwood, not balsa wood. Balsa wood's just too fragile. So you can see I use this to stir some poplar wood. That's right, poplar. I think it's poplar. So what I do with this stuff is I take this and I take, let's see, where do I have that? Handsaw. Yeah, there it is. Take this. You can use any sort of saw, but I have one of these nice little fine-tooth desk saws. And I'll start to build the frame of the backpack using this. This hair's kind of in the way. Let's see here. But I can bend it because of cast clay. There we go. Oop. There we go. And let's see, let's just say I want it to go down to, I want it to extend past the bottom, you know, kind of like this. There we go. Make that cut. Now, before I attach these pieces, though, before I permanently attach them, I usually like to add additional texture into the wood. So I'll go through this piece with because like right now there's not much texture to it because of, yeah, think of scale. You know, the wood. This piece of wood is too. The grain lines are too big. You know, so we need to make smaller grain lines. I usually take like a tool like this and just kind of score along the piece of wood vertically. Nice deep lines, kind of like that. See, let me see if I have a better tool for this. Maybe this one. Can see that. So I'll cut each piece to size and I'll make these details. Even take like the knife, make little like almost like little dents, kind of like a V cut. You know, stuff like that. Now when I have all my pieces cut, I will attach them. You can just tack them in place with super glue. Let me just cut another piece so I can show you guys how I'm gonna do the rope part. Along the sides. We'll use a smaller gauge towards the bottom. Let's see. Or even a round one like this. Okay, let's cut this. Let's just measure this while we got it here too. Dropped it. And technically you don't have to use mixed media for this. You can use just clay. I enjoy doing like elements like this with wood and mixed media. I think it offers a different kind of look, a different kind of style. Oh. Let's just get that where that's going here. And then this part right here. Let's tack it in place with some super glue. I'm not gonna do it permanent yet because I want to texture all these pieces, and we don't need to spend the time to demonstrate that. But let's just say right here. Oh, way too much. You know, it's fine. Oh, that's all right. Let me just show you guys. So pretend this is actually on the character. I would have glued this part in place first before doing this cross beam here. Okay. So that's super glue. And this is it's called an activator. It's an accelerator. So I just look up super glue accelerator. I highly recommend getting this because what it does is when you spray the super glue, it immediately hardens. So it's really good for like quick tacking or quick welding things in place. Okay, so now we're gonna use more mixed media. We have different types here. This is a hemp cordage. That's it. You know, think of the scale when you're picking stuff like this out, you know, the size of it. And we also have, this is embroidery floss, which I'm going to show you guys something cool with embroidery floss. Has a reaction. This particular type of stuff, it's cotton. It has a reaction with the super glue, which will allow you to make kind of like parts that are flowing in the breeze, if you will. So I'll pick out what I want. I also have like, this is like leather strips, which you can use to make all kinds of cool mixed media elements. Let's see. For the demonstration, I think we'll just use the embroidery floss. I usually pick a lighter color of embroidery floss. You can pick whatever color you want, but I pick a lighter with the intention of actually staining it or painting it darker. It just makes it look more like blended in and natural that way. So I don't think I have scissors at my desk. I'll just have to use the knife. Okay, so we're gonna use this to kind of design the like ties to make it look like it's all tied together. Let's just go this way with the end here first. Put some super glue. You don't actually tie, you just use super glue. Preferably a new super glue jug that doesn't have this problem I'm dealing with here. Yeah. Wipe away the excess. Can you bake embroidery floss? Yeah, I think you can, but this is something. Oh, let me mention that. Okay, good point. When you start doing mixed media elements onto your piece, make sure it's been baked for the last time. So you want to wait to do this step until the end. Yeah, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that. So do what I showed you before. Anything left you want to do on the character that needs to be baked, you want to do all that stuff first before you do this. Great to bring that up. Thank you. Because I mean, I'm sure it would be okay being baked, but I don't know. It's better to just wait. So now this is all, you know, this is all prepped and ready to, once it's all attached on there, you can either stain it with a wood stain, but I usually use just when you're going through in the painting step, you use brown paints as like a stain. You water them down and you just can get whatever color you want on the wood. So, and then okay, and then the next, so at this point, like I said, all mixed media additions, you want to wait until you're done sculpting. So we would sculpt whatever is in the basket if it is actually clay, which I could see, honestly, I could see using making a few more mushrooms is probably what I'll do, and then just kind of sticking in some clay in here and then sticking all the mushrooms in place, then baking it, and then filling the rest of it with mixed media, like stuff that looks like grass and leaves and stuff like that. So which you can find that kind of stuff at hobby shops or even like thrift stores and stuff like that, fake plant stuff. So, and then yeah, I would make sure I'd go through the whole character and I'll add things like the elbow pads I wanted to add, maybe a little elaborate trimming on the edge of his sleeves, you know, just really make sure you're done sculpting the character before you get into this mixed media step. Okay. The next thing I want to show is the dangly bits hanging from the staff here. Yeah, this embroidery floss is 100% cotton, so I think it would be fine. Okay, let's cut a piece of this. I want to show you this cool technique with embroidery floss that I actually accidentally discovered. So I have this little necklace bit here. I'll just give that a twist and we'll add some super glue. Ah, way too much. There we go. Say maybe like right here. I'm gonna make some other things to hang from his staff, but like a bunch of little, almost like trinkets. Just think of the look when you do this stuff. It's not about tying a knot or anything, because you're just going to use the glue to be your knot. Okay. Now here's the trick. So this is just hanging and dangling on its own, but we wanna design how it hangs, and we want it to do a particular thing and stay in place. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of grab it and hold it in the kind of the direction we want things to be kind of swaying, which I think is more like this, with the skull kind of facing us. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take super glue and we're going to kind of coat the whole length of the rope. You can do this in multiple steps or all in one step like what I'm about to do. But we really want to coat the super glue on there all the way down. Doesn't take long for this reaction to happen, and then all of a sudden it's solidified. It's loose right here at the base because there's not super glue there. So let's get that part done here. Hold it in the position that you want it. It's like magic. And then this little tail end thread, we can actually we can even design the way that this looks, kind of flowing in the wind too. Or you could just cut it off. Super glue on thread produces mild fume. It does, yes, so be careful. Exercise with caution. It's not brittle, it's bendy. See that? So it's actually a really durable thing. So I don't know. I accidentally discovered this one day, and there's so many applications you could use for this. You can even use like green colored embroidery floss and make like twisty, bendy little vines for like a plant. Like say you're making like some sort of plant monster, you could do that. So, but it's really cool. Just creates a really cool, really sturdy effect. So that was one of the big ones I wanted to show you guys for adding on your mixed media elements with embroidery floss. Let's see, let's think what else we need to go over. Okay, so then, all right, so there's a decision you have to make before you do any of the mixed media to declare that you're done baking the piece. Is you have to decide if you want to sculpt the base out of clay or if you want to make the base out of mixed media. Okay, those are kind of the two main ways to go about the base. So you could either you could sculpt it out of clay, where all you would do is you would add some foil here and you would add a layer of clay and just design it and sculpt it. If you go that route, I'm going to show you a technique that will help you a lot, especially if you're doing like earthy, groundy stuff. Let me get my tools for that. What you're going to do is you're going to go outside and you're going to look on the ground very closely and find these little hard things called rocks. Okay, and you're going to pick out a few of them that have a lot of texture and rinse them off in the sink so they don't have dirt on them. And what you're going to do is you're just going to smush them into the surface of the clay and transfer the texture of the stone. It's nice if you get ones that have like a little sharper edge, because then you can actually design and sculpt your like stone formations and stuff. But there's no better way to do stone and ground texture that will look really good. And I've seen people use a foil and stuff, but I'm telling you that the rocks will look better. So you do stuff like that, and then you take your, I missed my line tool. Take your line tool and go back in, and you can like find these little separation points and add some like cracks and stuff. And just make realistic looking you know, stone formations and stuff. I imagine the design of my base will be it'll be a guy outside, you know, kind of like a little slice of earth with some plants and some other mushrooms that look like this one. So I'll sculpt more of these. Maybe I'll sculpt a few rocks, or even just add actual rocks. But anyways, so you sculpt the whole base and you bake it for the final time, and then you transition this to a nice piece of wood, like one of these, which you can either make if you have a router, or you can buy them in all kinds of different sizes. But you just want to make sure that the wire doesn't poke through the bottom, so you drill into the base, not quite all the way, and then you permanently attach it to this. After this has been stained, you want to permanently attach this to this with 5-minute epoxy glue. So something else you have to buy. It's just a really strong glue. You'll put it where the pegs go into the wood, and that's definitely strong enough to keep it there. And then on the bottom side, you can either add, I like to add these things. These are little felt pads, you know. You'd take these, you know, and space them out evenly along the bottom there. It just makes a nice professional look. Or you could even coat the whole bottom with felt. There's this, you can get this this is a peel and stick felt here. you paint the sculpt before attaching it to the base? You can paint it and then attach it to the base at the very end. Or you can attach it and then paint it, and you just have to be careful not to get paint on your nicely stained finished piece at the bottom, right? Because you want to get one of these. If you get one of these, you want to sand it up nice and smooth and then stain it. And then at the end, you attach it to the actual character. You remove him from this. You can paint the base too, yeah. I've done that before as well. If you glued your character into this piece of wood, you can cut it and remove it. You know, cut it and remove it. Or what I like, I don't usually glue them, so I just use pliers, and I can just kind of pry it out of the hole. So actually, did I glue mine? Can't remember if I glued it or not. I don't think I didn't glue it. These are just not the right pliers for this. I don't know where my needle noses are. But anyways, you know, get them up off of there and then transition to the new base. Or you could even find a piece that's, say this is bigger, you could get a much bigger one of these, and you could just screw it into this like that, and then you'd have to sculpt over all of this and make it part of the base. That's another option. So then you're not actually removing it from the original piece of wood. I've done that a lot of times before. Okay, and then let me get into the other way of doing the base, which is the way I'm probably gonna go. We don't have enough time to like demonstrate the bases, so I'm just kind of going over it. But honestly, the base work isn't very super complicated. So what I'll do is I'll use this material. This is called Sculpting. It's essentially paper pulp mixed with plaster. So you can either buy it like this, already mixed up, or you can make it. Paper pulp would be like taking toilet paper and like blending it up, shredding it. Then you just mix in like maybe like 50-50 paper pulp, plaster. So you mix this with water and you can work with it. It's like a sludge, almost like frosting on a cake. And I also will mix, and this is not something everybody does, but I'll also mix in like orange and black paint to make it already have the color of dirt, to make it like a brown, a nice rich brown color. So what I do is I'll take any element that's sculpted, right, like these mushrooms and stuff. I'll mix up that slurry and I'll put it on the base, and it looks just like dirt, and kind of sculpt with it. And then I'll just kind of stick all my elements into the base, and then you gotta let it dry for like a couple days. So that's probably what the route I'll go. And then I'll, after it's hardened, I'll drill into it and attach little plants and little mixed media tufts of grass and stuff like that. So, and this is usually done, I usually do this after it's been painted, because it's just, when the character is by himself, it's much easier to work around and paint. And then once you've added the base, now you gotta hold the whole base and work around that too. So yeah. Let me show you guys some of the kind of like grassy effect stuff. You do go the mixed media route. I'm not sure. The mixed media route, you know, you just kind of collect things over time, and you build up your collection of kind of like fake grass and stuff. Okay. So this is a treasure chest, but let's just kind of go over some of the stuff I got in here. So, you know, This is a company called Woodland Scenics. And they have all kinds of different stuff. This is called Spanish moss, this stuff right here, which is really useful. We have a static grass applicator. This is for applying static grass. Feathers. These look like fall leaves. See that? They're like little fall leaves. But you can harvest your own organic matter, and then you want to look this up, but you want to cook it to a certain temperature to kill off any living creepy crawlies, and then you can like blend up like leaves and stuff and make your own, or you can buy it. Different color, greener colored leaves. So this is the stuff you glue on after you've done the step of the sculpt and mold. Here's some bag of sand, you know, sand and stones and stuff like that. Little trees, snow-covered trees. This is like a ground cover. Woodland Scenics blended turf. What glue would you use for those leaves? I can go over that. Yep. So it's more leaves. Model train supplies. Yep, exactly. Here's some like pine cones. Pine cones. A bunch of stuff, man. A bunch of random stuff. Flowers. I'm always on the hunt collecting this. Now this is funny. So I really like this stuff, and I actually found this in a wedding supply store. These are like little brooches that the groomsmen would wear on their vest. I was like, you know what, that looks really good. I could definitely use that stuff. So PVA glue, yeah, you could do PVA glue a little bit watered down too. Here's some flooring. This is some wooden flooring if we're doing like an inside scene. And this is just one of many bins I have with just stuff like this. You can also go, like I said, you can go to the thrift store and you can get the fake plants that people like to decorate their houses with. And you want to look for ones that have like little leaves and small, more detailed stuff, and buy that stuff. And you can cut those apart and, you know, wire them together with some floral wire and make your own kind of plant creations. Just have fun with it, really. There's no wrong, you know, you look at images of nature and really understand what actually is happening on the ground, and go out in nature. And I go hiking a lot, and I'm always just studying. The big thing I have always tried to figure out, which you guys saw what my answer to that was nature has a lot of leaf litter. You know, leaves are everywhere, and it's also one of the hardest things to figure out how to replicate, like on a scene like this. So I still think I want to harvest my own fall leaves. I feel like if you take fall leaves, you know, purify them in the oven and then blend them at different times, so there's different sized chunks, you know, so like really fine, you know, a little bit more coarse, a little bit larger pieces, and then combining that with like PVA glue to create like a realistic kind of leaf litter type of look. I don't know. More experimentation is always needed, that's for sure. So if you're gonna go if you guys are gonna go mixed media route like me with your base, then you need to just finish the character, okay? So do all the sculpting parts first and bake it for the final time. Then do the mixed media parts like the dangly bit and the wood and stuff like that. Then don't do the base until after the character's painted. So ignore the base. We're gonna get into the painting of the character after like 2 weeks. If you're gonna sculpt the base, you want to do that now. You want to sculpt the base, fully finished character from base to top, bake it for the final time, then add your mixed media, you know, the embroidery floss, the wood, if you want to, and then you're gonna end up painting the base and the character. If you do mixed media, we finish the character, bake it for the final time, add the mixed media, paint the character, then we transfer this to the final piece of wood, and we're going to do mixed media with the base. Because you can also bulk things out with foam, pink foam, if you use mixed media. So I'll take chunks of pink foam and kind of bulk it out, and then I'll use the Sculpt-A-Mold on top of that. That hardens, and then we do like gluing of sand. Oh, let's talk about glues. I glue like sand and ground turf down first, then I glue a little bit bigger things like grasses, and then I glue, you know, maybe like a little bush or stuff like that, you know. Mushrooms, you can sculpt mushrooms and stick them on there. And you're just designing nature. And then after it's all on there and glued, you shake off all the loose material or blow it off, and then you paint that. So you don't paint it like you paint the character. You're almost like staining the existing, because like the natural colors of those materials are already kind of in sync with what they need to be. But you can add like washes and stuff and do some airbrushing to create more effects. You know, bring it or darken the shadows and lighten the highlights and stuff. So okay. Glues. Let's talk about glues. So you guys know of super glue and activator, which is a useful one. Now, let's see here. Let me grab some of my glues here. We can talk about glues. So many different types to choose from. So let's talk about some glues. Now this has been the best glue I've found for like when you sprinkle loose stuff on the base and you want to just glue it. You can put glue in like a spray bottle and you can spritz it on there, or you want to get a really liquidy glue like this is made by Woodland Scenics, and you can see the viscosity of it is really liquidy. So I use this to kind of like tack things in place. You can use, this is like the equivalent of, it's just like a hardcore Elmer's glue. Weld bond. It's just a universal glue for everything. Which it's like a white glue, it air dries. And you could probably use this and water it down and get something like this. I just haven't really played around with that before. And then here's your 5-minute epoxy. This is for when you attach the character to the final base. If anything you want to glue, you want it to be really like never come apart again, this stuff. But be careful because it's a little bit harder to control, you know. And once it gets on something, it doesn't like to come off. So you mix 2 equal parts together in a pile and you get 5 minutes, and then it starts to harden. So, And if you go the mixed media route, you're going to want to familiarize yourself with this material, because once you've added foam and all these different things to your project, you can no longer bake it. So anything you want to add sculpturally after, like say there's an afterthought that you had that you wanted to sculpt something on the base, you have to use this stuff, which is called Magic Sculpt. This is an epoxy clay. So you mix, you know, a 50-50 ratio, this to this. So it's, you just grab a ball of it and you grab an close to the same size ball of this stuff. You mix them together and then you can sculpt with this, and it hardens after like an hour or hour and a half. Really useful, and it gets really strong. It's a really strong material once it's hardened. It's called Magic Sculpt. So, and you could just plop it on whatever surface you want to sculpt on, sculpt it. It's not as nice to sculpt with as the polymer clay. That's why I try not to use it if I can get away with using. Sometimes what you can do is you can sculpt whatever you want to add on separately, bake it, and then, you know, kind of like attach it to the piece with this, you know, just kind of on the back, using it as like a glue, gluing it on instead of, you know, sculpting it directly on like that. So, okay. And there's all kinds of other glues and stuff out there. These are just the things that I use, and I've certainly not experimented everything to, you know, everything to do or try. I've not done, you know, so. Okay. Now I'd like to give an opportunity here for any questions that you guys might have, that you feel like there's, like if I didn't cover something with getting this to the phase where we can paint. If there's anything that you need more clarity on, feel free to type your questions in the chat. But otherwise, we'll go from questions to review, and we'll look at your guys' work. And like I said, we're going to take 2 weeks off. So next Sunday and the one after, no class. But the third Sunday, we will begin the painting lesson. So, oh, that's a good question. I have a hairline crack on the face. Do I just smush clay before the final bake? Yeah, so, yes, that's a good solution. So just brush in some clay glue first, and then just smush the clay and like really push really hard so it just kind of fills in the crack. And then, you know, like maybe brush over it with some alcohol so it blends in. But do that on your final bake, because you don't want to fix cracks. You don't want to fix cracks and then you keep baking and working on it, and then the crack will just reappear. So oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I think the stuff that I have, the weld bond, is archival safe. Yeah. I learned about this weld bond from Mr. Creature, and he's very well versed in different materials. Right. Yeah, some glues will turn yellow over time, and you don't want that. Let's see. Other ways you can fix cracks is you can use Magic Sculpt to fix cracks. When you work with Magic Sculpt, it's very sticky. So what you do is you wet your fingertips and you wet your tools. You have a little cup of water, and that'll stop it from sticking to you. Kind of like bread dough, you know. It's good that it is very sticky because you can really stick it onto things. And yeah. I don't know what that is there, Karos. I don't know what that is. I saw a trick on YouTube video of spraying PVA. Yeah, you can even take, so another trick too, you can take some of that ground cover material or sand or dirt or whatever, You can put it into a cup and mix PVA glue into it, almost like a slurry, and then apply the paste, the effect paste, and then that'll dry. So there's all kinds of different things you can do. So yeah. I have a thread that I knocked off of my shoe. How should I replace it? I tried once before, but it didn't stay. So like a little, almost like a little stitch came undone. What you can do is you can apply it, and yes, 2 weeks. There's 2 weeks off, so the next 2 weeks there's no class. So yeah, so that's what, 3 weeks of time between when the painting lesson starts. Yeah, you can. So just the reason it's falling off is just not really attached very well. So you just really need to load it up with the clay glue and attach it. You could try and fix it with mixed media if you wanted to do like a little embroidery floss with some super glue. But I know it's harder to get it to stick to the baked clay, right? So I made the straps for my backpack out of cosplay and sculpted them to look like leather. I attached them to a little wooden piece on the backpack, and when I baked it, the strap actually broke in half. I don't understand why it happened. Something probably shifted, or there was like tension in there, and then when you bake it, it goes through that state of being fragile first before it becomes bendy, and it probably broke during that time there. So just so was there anything supporting the strap, or was it kind of like draped across air? Was it just like hanging on there, kind of? Because that could be why too, that it just didn't have support, and when it baked it just kind of went like this and broke. I just don't want the clay glue to be super obvious. Yeah. Well, what you can do is you can clay glue, add the stitch, clay glue it, and then you can, after it's baked, go into it with a knife and kind of clean it up and carve it a little bit, you know. Something along those lines. And honestly, once things are painted, it's not going to be as obvious as you would think, you know. So, or just consider that little stitch to be lost, like it's broken. Yeah, it just depends, you know. Sometimes I'll get like a stitch that pops off because I didn't secure it well enough, and I just well, I guess he's missing a stitch there, you know. I roll with it. But it shows you that it's really important when you add those little pieces like stitches and rivets and stuff to really put that clay glue on there and make sure that they're not gonna, because if you clay glue it right, it won't come off. So, but it's pretty common to lose little details that you thought you secured enough, but you really didn't. So, will you be teaching painting with brushes only, or also an airbrush? Also, could we use resin to create a water effect, or would it inevitably yellow over time? Yeah, you can do whatever you want. The water, I'm not too well versed in like deep pour resin stuff. As far as I can tell, most of that stuff does yellow over time eventually. So there are no yellowing resins, I believe. Yeah, I want to say even those eventually they do yellow. I don't know. I'm not really well versed in that, so do your own research. You know, some of the best places to find good information on crafting is forums, old school like Reddit posts and forums, and reading through comments and stuff. I can't tell you how many nuggets of golden information I've acquired just by reading through a post. So yellow water. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that just happens sometimes. If anything, it's a good thing because when you start doing work for other people, like clients and stuff, it's better if it's gonna break. I'd rather it break with me and I can address it than for it to fall off later. So it's a good thing at the end of the day. Yes, I wrapped. Okay, that's what happened, She-Wolf. So when you bake cast clay, actually, let me show you. Whatever position it's in when you bake it needs to stay the same because, so this is like flexible and stuff, right? But if I was to bend it like this and hold it there and then bake it again, it would crack right there where the bend is because it wants to return back to its original state. See, it wants that. So there's a buildup of tension there. And when you bake it, when it's heated up, it goes back, it reverts back to its fragile state, to its crumbly, cracking state. It's not bendable anymore at that point. So that's what happened is you made a piece that was flat and then you coiled it around something, and then when you baked it, it just probably just completely crumbled apart, I imagine. So yeah, unfortunately it doesn't work that way. It would if you, so you can do that, but you need to not bake it again after that, you know. So you make that strap and just glue it on, and don't, once all the baking, treat it like a mixed media element that you add on the end, because then it would be fine, then there'd be no problem. So, or consider getting some of the, like this stuff, and just using like a mixed media element. So the ancient tomes, yeah, forum posting. I could say I've learned the most in my whole career from forum posts. Back in the day when I started, that was the only thing there was. There wasn't a lot of like YouTube videos and stuff like that on sculpting at all. Like it wasn't really that big back then. So I would find little forum groups, and there'd be little tutorials and all kinds of really cool stuff, man. That's where I got most of my information that I learned from, just reading through forum posts. I think the problem with like trying to learn from YouTubes and stuff these days is it's not the primary objective of the creator for you to learn. It's for you to watch and stay watching. You know what I mean? There's ulterior motive. Whereas when people post on a forum, that's the only intention, is just for people to learn and to help someone learn something. There's no ulterior motive. Some stuff on YouTube is deceiving, or like in the context of creators, like making things, they're not doing things in a way that's going to last, but it looks really good in the video, you know. But they do certain things that it's like, yeah, that wouldn't really actually work if you're trying to make a project to like ship it to somebody, to sell it, or to give it as a gift. It's not going to work. A lot of the like tactics they'll do, it's like temporary. Like, yeah, that looks great in the video, but it's not actually gonna be functional. You know, it's gonna break apart or whatever. Like painting monster clay. Yeah, exactly. that's a great example. So, because it's fine. It's just you have to realize that their finished product isn't the sculpture. It's the video. That's their finished product. They're not selling their sculptures to make money. They're making money from the video, you know. So yeah, exactly. Red ticket. Yeah. Like, whoa, I found this old rusted PlayStation covered in dirt. Gonna restore it now. Like, alright, you did that. You covered it in dirt. It's smart. It is smart, but there's a little bit of deceptiveness. So it's quite difficult to find good information in Spanish and find materials in my country. Well, you know, that presents an opportunity if you really think about it. Because if you're having a hard time, then everyone else is having a hard time, and that creates a need. If you see a need, you can fill that need. Maybe you can be the one to dig up the information and assemble it into a video and post it. Yeah, it's crazy to think that there's a whole other like videos and like content creators that you'll never see because they speak a different language. Isn't that funny? I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a bunch of content creators and all the various languages of the world that you just never have seen their stuff because of the language barrier. Crazy. What a crazy big world we live in. Yeah. The snake oil salesman of YouTube. Made everything by, yeah, 18 Vix is working with some you know, everyone's got different situations, and you got to make the best of what you have. Mr. Beast in Espanol. Oh jeez. It is an opportunity, that's right. Like, aha, maybe you could be the one to fix this. You even made the Grad's applicator at home. What's that? I have a question. What is your question? I look forward to the days when CNOT will be in English. Oh, grass applicator. Yeah, I was actually considering making one of those too. They're 18 Vix. But then I got lazy and just bought it, so. Gotta make the best of what you got, that's for sure. There's always a way to do things. Might not be the same way as someone else, but there's always a way. Okay, well, let's get Red Ticket's question, and then we'll switch over to looking at your guys' work. Will you be teaching painting with just brushes or also... Oh yeah, you asked that question. I think just brushes. I think we're just gonna do just paintbrush. Just because the airbrush is not something everybody's gonna have. Plus, I'm not really like... I'm not like a qualified teacher with airbrush, because I only use it myself for like really basic things. So I can maybe go over it a little bit, what I use it for. You know, like you guys saw me using it to make the like smoke effect on the base of the Banisher's piece. You know, I use it for just stuff like that, like getting those nice subtle gradients, or like if you have like a cartoony looking character that's got really subtle gradients, you know, I'll use the airbrush there. But yeah, we'll just go over just painting by hand. Okay, would it be okay if I ask in Discord for the group to give me random ideas to sculpt? Yeah, that's fine. Sure. Yeah, you don't have to. Go right ahead. Yeah, Brush for Hire is a streamer here, and he is very good. He's very proficient with the airbrush, and a qualified professional indeed. So he would be the man to have a chat with if you have airbrushing questions. Brush for Hire. Oh. You just met him in person at Adepticon? Yeah, I saw some photos from people on social media. Adepticon. That's the one that was kind of in my backyard, wasn't it? Isn't that the one that's in, or, no, that's Dragon Con, isn't it? Where's that one located? Alright, let's switch over to Discord. Let's take a look at your guys' work for the week here. What are we on? Week 10? It's in Schaumburg. Oh yeah, that was close. I could have went to that. I don't have a vehicle though, so I actually couldn't have went. I actually have an excuse that I didn't go this year. Sorry guys, I totally would have been there, but I didn't have a car. I'm just a hermit. It's just really hard to get me out of my hole here. So. Okay, hashtag week 10. Okay, let's take a look, shall we? Got what, 27 entries, all right. Week 10. Oh wait, let me turn this off. I can actually see your names. Paugus Champus. Well, still way behind, so figured why not make myself more behind by adding more LEDs. So the story with this guy is he's a little mini dude, like 1/1 scale, and he's forging at night and has help from his firefly friends. Making these little guys took a while to figure out how I was going to make it work. But the walking stick he has is hollow, so I can remove the fireflies / wiring and add them back after all the baking is done. Still have to add more legs to the fireflies, but I'm going to use wire and maybe add some clay and sculpt and bake those before I attach the legs. Okay. He's also going to be standing under a big mushroom. Okay, that will glow. That will have glow clay and other LEDs. So I'll probably be done by the end of summer. I'm determined to get a lot done though during the 2 weeks between now and the next class. Okay, let's see what we got here. Some lights, that's exciting. Oh. Hey, that's cool. Hey, great job. Great job on those fireflies. Okay, so he is life size in scale. That's awesome. Great effect. Look at this. You can see the money shot of the photo later when it's all finished, you know? The glow, the way the lights hit the face and everything. That's so awesome. Advanced. That's advanced stuff there. Okay. Okay, and then that's hollow. Accessories. Awesome. That's great. That's a worthwhile detour for sure. I got too scared for wired lights. I settled for tiny battery powered ones. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. You don't have to really be afraid of wired lights. If you do exclamation point LED, I think it'll give you a link to as a model train supplier that makes all that stuff like plug and play if you're really worried about it. That's what I've used. Yeah, go check that stuff out. It's all like real simplified. Just connect the red wires to the red wires and the black ones to the black ones, and there you go. But yeah, that's cool, man. Awesome work there, Paugus. That's exciting. Now you have to finish because I want to see. So, Chef Bliss. Okay, got a lot more to do. I have the sketch of the bag I'm about to start. He's holding a bone with ropes that will be a lantern. Oh, I see. I transitioned the ropes into the wire so I could cheat it, but realized it wouldn't have texture. Can I put almost like a slip on it and use just clay glue for texture? You can, yeah. You just gotta experiment with that kind of stuff. Or, you know, one thing I've been wanting to experiment with is taking some of the clay and putting clay glue and like mixing it together and creating like a paste almost, so it's a little bit more thick. So not as thin as the clay glue, but not as thick as the clay, something in the middle. And then maybe you can brush that paste on and create some sort of texture. Just gotta experiment. Let's see. Oh, I see what you mean with the rope. Yeah. Or you can honestly, you could probably just paint that. You could probably just paint the metal and it would just look like rope if you were to paint it. But you have to paint, something that's metal has to be painted with enamel paints in order for it to actually stick. So acrylic paint and stuff like that will just come right off. So there we go. He's looking good, man. Are you gonna do, I wonder, Chef, oh, you're doing the battery powered lights, right? It makes it's easier to do it that way, so not bad. Nice sketched pack there. All right. Yeah, it looks good. You can texture this to make it look like a rope, or you can just paint it. That's totally up to you. Either way will work. You just need to get some enamel paint for that. Alright, Ghoul, let's see what we got here. Got a lot done. Shirt, robe, eyes, ears, and still working on the facial hair. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'd like to see you, Ghoul. You need to put more space in your beard. It's reading very, very flat. You need to really get in there with the tool and like make room, you know, make depth, you know, push in that depth. I know it's easy to get kind of caught up in the light scratchy lines, but you need to really get in there and create the space, all the air that's in there, so it doesn't read as much as like a solid object. So yeah, I mean, it definitely looks good from here, but you can even still see it here. That you just need to go into your lines you've already made. You're gonna go right in there with the tool and just push it in really deep, and then move it over and move it over, and then push in a little in another area, move it over, and it'll end up creating little zigzag lines for your. So you start with the straight lines, and then they're shallow, and then you create the depth. So. That's looking good. All right, cape, got the cloak. What a character. That's very good. Cloaks are not easy. Cloak, you know, I used to struggle with that, like how to even approach stuff like cloaks and how to do weapons and stuff. And this is great work. All right, cool. Good job. Toadstool Titan, still very far behind. This is essentially all I was able to complete last Sunday. Work has me too exhausted Yeah, I understand that. Recently to be able to work on anything through the week. Hopefully I'll make a lot of progress today. Yeah, I feel you on that, my friend. You know, this is the thing I want you guys to focus on. Not how much progress you're making, but that you are making progress, you know, even if it's only like 30 minutes a week even, that's fine. It's eventually going to get done then. What you don't want to happen is a week goes by and you don't do anything, and then the next week, you know, and then before you know it, it's like behind you, you know. So just don't set the bar of expectation so high for yourself. Just say, as long as I get some work done, just a little bit, if even 15 minutes, you know, everyone can commit to 15 minutes, then the ball will keep rolling, you know, and that's what we want. And you'll have some weeks where you'll only do the bare minimum, but then you'll have other weeks where you're really into it and you're going to do a lot more. So just kind of, that's the bar. Just try to convince yourself that you need to do just at least a little bit, you know, just a little bit on Sundays or whenever you want to do it. But yeah, this looks great, man. It's great. Because, you know, I actually had Jones from the community, and his son came to the house yesterday, and I was talking to his son about that, about we want to develop the habit of finishing the projects that we start, you know. We don't want to get in the habit of starting things and only working on them when it's exciting and new and fun, and then when you get every project you'll do will have a phase where you're just not really into it, you know, because the initial spark has worn off, and now you got like this no man's land in the middle that you got to get through to get to the end, you know. But I tell you, once you get through that middle part and you start getting towards the end, it gets exciting again. So, and then you can ride that wave of excitement. So the middle's exciting and you want to like binge it, and that's the only thing you want to do. The middle's really dry and you almost have to force yourself to do it. And then when you start getting closer to the end, it gets exciting again. So that's the natural progression of anything you're gonna do. So I have a wizard that is in that exact phase, yeah. So don't let yourself not make progress, but only commit to a little bit, so that way you don't talk yourself out of it. Like, I don't really want to do 2 hours of sculpting right now. It's like, all right, that's great, but do 15 minutes. You can do that. So, all right, that's my rant on finishing what we start. Right, good habits. Nice work, Toasto. This is great. This is great progress. I really like the shape of the bag. The way it reads is really it's a nice looking bag. Yeah, reads really good. Alright, Dragon. Hello. I've decided this guy is completed. Super happy with it. Still impressed with myself for being able to do these things. Not working on the base. Let's see how it goes. Oh, now working on the base. Okay. Well, I'm glad I went over the protocol for the base for you, Dragon. I'm not sure which route you're going, but let's see. Oh, I can see. You're going mixed media. Okay. So this is example of how I build bases too, and Dragon's done classes with me before, so that's why he knows how to do this stuff. But yeah, essentially you bulk out the shapes with pink foam and like hot glue, and you create the shape of your base, and then you use mixed media, either magic sculpt the mold, or gluing wood or whatever on top of the foam to create the actual finished look on the base. But yeah, wow, that's cool, man. That is very, very good. Oh, cool. He's got a little cast iron pan. Oh man, I like his pack, man. Yeah, that's an inspiring. I'm gonna make a bunch of little tools and stuff hanging from my guy's pack. I just haven't gotten around to making them. So, what's the yellow stuff? It's just a different kind of foam. It looks like probably just a different colored foam. I usually hang on like any big chunks of foam that I get randomly, like through like you know, like when you buy something that has like a big dense foam in there. Just hang on to it and use it for like base filler material. Scrap of EVA foams, yeah. That's cool. A little spoon, a little bag. Oh yeah, some morels in there, mushrooms. Cool, man. Yes. I like the hat you chose. I was considering doing something like that, like the classic just peasant like piece of leather on the head. It works really good with your character. So for cooking and self-defense, yeah, right. Awesome, Dragon. I'm excited to see how things finish up. Speaking of which, so for the painting class, get yourself a set of like a multi-pack of brushes like this. Just get some synthetic ones. They don't have to be really expensive. I think this pack right here was $5.99 and it was probably half off, so it was only like $2 for all these brushes. So you're gonna need these, and you're gonna need, if you want to follow along exactly how I'm doing things with like the same colors and everything, buy the Reaper Miniatures starter kit that we linked in the Discord. You'll be able to find it there. I'll be buying that kit, and I'll only use the paints from that kit. And then some sort of, you don't have to buy a palette, but some sort of a, you know, plastic lid or something to use. Will you be using the airbrush at all? I will not be using the airbrush at all. No. I'll just be hand brushing. Just so people can follow along. I don't know if I even would on this character, to be honest. I only use the airbrush for like real specific things, so yeah, it'll be fun to paint this one, that's for sure. Okay, let's go on to the next one here. Saradini. Still got to do the hat and hair, but I have to bake the beard, so I'll not be finishing up tonight. I've also been playing with ideas of the younger character, no beard for them, but I think I have a good idea of where I'm going with them. Okay, let's see here. It's a kind soul. He reminds me of my father-in-law right now. Very much so, especially with the bald head. Can get a little plastic pail with inexpensive brush. Yeah, you gotta make sure that they're synthetic bristles though, not like, you'll see these really cheap ones that like have like black and brown colored bristles where it like looks natural. Those ones suck because the bristles just come out. So you want to look at the bristles and get synthetic, which you'll be able to tell they have like an orange or a white, or in this case it's brown, but it's all the same exact color, you know, and that's how you can tell. So synthetics. That's awesome. I love it. Oh, let's see here. Oh, there's the young. Wow, you're doing a really good job on the young character. It's not easy. Not easy to do young, childlike characters. So this is the students. Yeah, we're going over the students' artwork. Welcome there, Layuban. Welcome. Gentle expression. Yeah, it's good. Great work there, Saradini. Jabez. I think he's finished. All accessories, including the hand holding the potion bottle and belt buckle, are removable for easier painting. Very good. Thank you so much for this course. I have loved every minute of it. It's been a joy to see everyone's characters come to life, and every single one of them puts a smile on my face. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. He's very serious, that's for sure. He's on a quest. He's on a mission. I wonder what his mission is. Awesome. I love the hat style you went with. Quite did venture. Warcraft like feel. Yeah, I totally see that too. You know, I've always been really inspired by Warcraft's art style. It's definitely been a big influence in the things I like and don't like, and yeah, looks good. I love the just the overall look of all the textures, man. It's good. Okay. Jabez, great work. Now you know what to do if you're going mixed media. Wait until we paint. Or, I mean, you could see Dragon's already doing his without painting. It's fine. It's just what's going to happen is you're going to have to hold on to that whole base as you paint. So if you don't have a problem with that, that's fine. Dragon will have to endure. I'm sure it'll be fine. So you can jump into the base now if you want to. Just you want to keep that in mind that maybe it would be easier to paint it if you don't have the base there yet. Character is not attached to the base yet. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So Dragon's character actually comes off, which is the best case scenario. You can remove the character, paint it, and then in the end you can permanently attach it with some glue or something, and you can work on the different elements separately. That's actually very wise there, Mr. Dragon. So makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if yeah, I don't know. If we had more time, we would get into more of like a base making tutorial, but we don't have the time for it. That's okay. There's always going to be holes. There's always going to be things that you guys are going to have to go explore yourself. So hopefully we'll keep more classes going, and you can pick up more of those pieces as we go. So that's true. Yeah, that's true, Dragon. 4th class, wow, isn't that crazy? Oh yeah, the zombie, the wizard, the mimic, and this is the 4th one. Yeah. Fairy foundling. Okay, lots of small things to show this week. I completed the isopod shell and the basic staff. I sketched out some ideas for clothes and bags and landed on a shoulder bag with a gourd water bottle. Oh, sweet. And a short cape or wrap. I'm not quite set on the hat or beard yet, but these two look good. He looks weird with a mustache, so he may not get one. That's fine. Yeah. Also, my dude needed neck surgery because I used Sculpey. I had to sever his neck with an X-Acto knife. Disturbingly to reposition it. Okay. Now he's looking up in life. I will say sketching with the clay makes all the difference. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Just blopping, just when you really don't know what you want to do, just start blopping clay forms on the character and see what does he look like with a mustache? Just put a little thing there and then you can see it instead of trying to guess, you know. So yes. Making use of the sketching it's just how you figure things out. So that's the fun part. Figuring it out. Oh, also the Sculpey really doesn't like 275 degrees versus 250. I burned it again. Yeah, it's true. But I assume I needed it that high for the cosplay. Yes, you do. Is there any way to protect it? The tip of the shoe in particular is pretty burnt. Cross my fingers and hope. If it's just discoloring, there's no problem. It's fine. You're going to be painting it. But because I've seen people do Sculpey creations that like the first layers are like black by the time they finish, and it's totally okay. You can shield something from heat using aluminum foil, but I'm not sure it would matter, to be honest. Let's see. Let's take a look. Ah, it looks really good. Roly-poly. Land shrimp. Awesome. The tiny little legs will be a challenge, but you can do it. I would just use probably wires for the legs. You can use little wires and then even sculpt the legs, but make them all separately. And then what you do is at the end you carve out the inside of the isopod, and you put a blob of clay on the inside, you know, attached with some clay glue, and then you just using like tweezers, you just kind of stick the legs into the base layer of clay, and then, you know, brush on some clay glue, make them real secure, and then bake it. That's how I would do it. Let's see. Ah, yes. A lovely shaped staff. Okay, yep, sketching it out. That's the bag. It's pauldrons. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I see what you mean. He's got that, that friendly face. Maybe he doesn't need a mustache. Gourd bottle. Okay. I can see it, yeah, with like a hat like this, plus the beard. That beard shape is nice. Just remember, there's a lot of, oh yeah, okay. Poor fella. Oh, wait. Okay, nice new neck. The head posture's way better, yeah, look at that. Comparison. Looking up. Oh. A good call. Good decision. Okay. Oh, I could see this being like one of those, they used to wear like, you'd have a hood. It was like a separate clothing item called a hood. And it would literally be like a leather hood that would drape over your shoulders. And that was literally medieval umbrellas, essentially. They just wore this hood thing, which would be very hot when it was hot outside. You couldn't wear it all the time, but you would have one. And that's what, you ever seen those really funny like chef looking hats? They used to wear their hoods on their head when it would be too hot. And that's what created this whole fashion trend of these merchant weird looking cloth hats. It started off as people taking their hood off and flipping it upside down and wearing it on the top of their head so they didn't have to carry it around when it would get hot and it wasn't raining anymore. Funny how things like that come to be. Great work there, Fairy. Great work. I'm excited to see what comes next from you. Oh wait, I didn't see the tip of the shoe. No, yeah, you're fine. Yeah, that's barely discolored. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Trust me. It could be completely like dark brown black and it'll still be fine. So don't worry about it. Okay, next one. Sherry. I think he is ready for his close-up. I'm working on a dandelion to put in his hand, or into his hat band, and there's a couple accessories to complete. This has been such fun. Okay, so we got another real kind-looking soul. Oh, I like the little mushrooms on the log there. That's really nice. Nice touch. Little critter. Awesome. So then you'll just, you know, you'll sculpt the ground, obviously. We went over the two different ways to go about this. You can get some of the Sculptamold and just mush it in there and make him look he's all flush together. Or you just shove clay in there and sculpt it to look like dirt. However you want to move forward there. Either way works. I'm telling you, once you get that Sculptamold stuff though, I mean, once I discovered it, I learned about it through watching, I was always wondering how people that do those huge model train sets, how they make like mountains and dirt and make it look real natural. And that's when I discovered Sculptamold. So it's great stuff. But keep in mind when you use it, you want to add water just enough to make it like almost like a mushy slurry that you can still kind of sculpt, not add too much water. And then it's going to take like a whole week to dry. Like, so keep that in mind. To fully dry, you know. Awesome. Nice work, Sherry. Nice work. Okami. Eyebrows. Not quite what I was going for. Better sketch the beard and the hair first. That'll do. Looking forward to being caught up soon. Let's see what we got here. It works. I think that's great. So I wanted to go a little bit more wild with my eyebrows, but it's okay. You did enough for me too. So oh wow, that's an interesting idea. So with this hairstyle, it's gonna be difficult to texture. If you do this, it's gonna be very difficult to texture those, because those little wiggle worms are gonna be moving around. So what you might want to do is actually make those pieces kind of separate and like texture them flat on a board, you know, like with a tool. Get the lines in there first, then apply them to the head and bend and move them around. Yeah, if you go that route. So I'd maybe consider doing it, think in that terms, you know, like, or you have to build his hair like a solid like afro shape and then sculpt it to look like this, but like from a solid mass, and that way you can actually get in there and it'll be supported enough to hold the detail. So that's great, man. Look at the feet and everything. It's looking good. But yeah, if you take these little strands, you just take them off and texture them on the board straight. Make them nice and straight. Get your lines in there all the way around. Then attach them and then bend them into the shape with, you know, poking them with the tools and stuff. You'll have a much easier time doing it that way. A wise old man. Very wise. Okay. Nice work there, Okami. Alright, let's see. Did we miss something here? Oh, we did an @ okay, good. Hashtag. Okay. This is week 10. Red ticket. Gremlin 1, been lots of fun doing these last details. The hat can be detached and I will glue it on after painting. The dragon can also be taken out. I did 2 different styles of ear hair on the 2 sculpts. Okay. Just editing to also mention another thank you to the person who funded these classes. You're a great person who gives us a lot of joy. Well, there you go. If our mysterious funder is listening. Alright, let's take a look. Oh man. Great job building the depth in the beard and the mustache. Really has the volume, but it, you know, there's the space is there, you know. Very good. So let's see these close-ups here. The shaggy eyebrows, I like it. I like it a lot. Alright, let's see. Sarah, you have some fungi growing on your hat there, just in case you didn't know. Oh, I see. Okay, let's take a look at those ears. It's a little bit different. Is that hair? Is that hair coming out of his ears? Very nice. Awesome. Looks great, my friend. They do look like they're brothers, which is cool. It could be very cohesive in one base. So. All right, let's see here. I bet they take little tiny steps on their hikes. Yeah, right. Morph. I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, he just did both. I see. Hashtag week 10 or hashtag week 11. I'm not sure. Finish the second hand. Holding carrot is taking out of the bag. I also... Okay. Still not a fan of the back of the hand, so I'll rework it. First hand holding beer is done, and from last time, I also did the underbelly shell and tail attachments and a barrel. Never-ending sculpt. Those are the most fun ones, though. What'd you use for the beer froth? I think he probably used translucent clay. Yeah, it's probably translucent real beer. Yeah. Awesome. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, that's a nice bag. Nice little pouch. Is that the one he's probably reaching into? Oh yeah, wow. Hey, look at that. Bendy, flexy action there. Those translucent cast clay. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, that's another thing to think about, guys. You can always experiment with different colored clays as well for different effects. So. Alright, there's the carrots. I imagine it's to feed his turtle. Okay, so I think for the back of the hand, you just need to add volume. So let's see it. If you can see it right when we turn here. Right there, it should be a little bit more. Just add like a blop of clay onto the back there and resculpt the back of the hand, but add that volume, you know, that thickness of the palm, and then that'll read much better. So just add a little square pad of clay, but it looks good. Looks good. Okay, and that's what he's pulling out of the bag. Oh, nice. A nice keg. Oh, the shell and everything and the tail's looking really good. Oh, yeah. It's awesome. He's got plenty of liquid fuel for his journey. Looks like you use some sort of like existing barrel structure. Very smart, very wise. I know when you go to the hobby shop, at least the ones by me, they have like a section with like random wood things, wooden shapes. It's a good idea to pick up just like wooden spheres and, you know, the wooden sticks like I showed earlier and stuff like that to use as bases, because it's like the literal term of don't reinvent the wheel, you know? Don't have to reinvent the shape of a barrel. You can just use an existing barrel shape that's made of wood and then layer clay over it. Make life easier on yourself. Nice job. Alright, let's see here. A savage dad. Went with the no hat look after going back and forth if he needed one. Okay. That's fine. No wrong decisions, my friend. I see, yeah. Yeah, it works. Definitely works. Just hair. Very cool. Nice riveting there. He's happy to take a nice break and take a swig there. Ah, a beer break. Very riveting, yes. Alright, great work there, Savage Dad. Now, you're pretty well on your way to the finish line too. Just, you know, final touch-ups and accessorizing. You know, I want to do this personally with my work, where I push it to the point where the composition's done, right? But then I look over it once more and say, is there anything I can add to enhance this? You know, just like little details on like the trimming of sleeves and stuff like that, really push things a little bit further. So I know that's what I'm gonna do with mine. Is I'm gonna finish the composition so it's in a state of being done, but then I'm gonna push it, you know, one step further. So okay, Torn. Here's my little elf. He would like to show you his wares that he has gathered. Okay, let's see your wares, my friend. Oh, nice. Oh, that works great with your character. The style you went for. Let's see the video. Oh, and the ears going through the hat. A very nice design. The character really functions, goes together really well. The mustache, the hat, the style of the clothing, it just all fits. Show me your wares, traveler. Awesome, Torn, good job. Toadstool Titan. My boss and his mother are very sick, so I've been essentially left running the restaurant. I work at for the past couple of weeks, okay, and the foreseeable future. As a result of being overwhelmed at work, I've only been able to complete his second pretty intricate sleeve. But alas, I'm still attempting to get as much done today as possible. Yep, well, we talked about that before, so just don't worry about getting a certain amount done. Just as long as you're making progress, you're on the road. That's great. That's great wrinkle work there on that sleeve. I can tell you studied the reference very closely. That was last week. Oh, okay. All right. Did we not? I didn't see that. I don't think I saw the sleeve, did I? Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, because I forgot we had the week off in between. Okay. Good. Okay. Nice work, my friend. Yeah, great sleeves for sure. Red ticket. Oh wait, okay, so yeah, so we're okay. So there's gonna be 2 posts from everybody. We'll just go through them all just so I don't miss anything. Working on ears at the moment. I was going to have them in a goblin shape, but I couldn't get the shape that fit right, so I'm sticking with human shapes. Attempted to add some weather. Okay, so we did already see this one, but let's just watch. Okay. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Saradini, we saw Saradini. Nice Soul Dealer. We haven't seen this one. Did a lot of sculpting this week, so I started my second character. It wasn't planned to make it that small though. I only have a soft version of clay and had a rough time with the hands and sword. It felt extremely wobbly. I wonder, what is the difference to harder clays? Is it just that you need more force to shape the clay, or is there more to it? That's exactly what it is. So softer clay requires soft touch to change the shape of it. Firmer clay requires a firmer touch, which means it's much easier to not accidentally over push the clay or move it around. You know, when you have a really firm clay, you're able to handle it a little bit more ruggedly without messing it up, essentially. I almost failed at art class in middle school because I worked too slow. Well, what is structured, organized schooling? It's like opposite of the true artist's nature, so What do they know? What do they know? There's comes a time for deadlines, but when you're learning, you shouldn't be concerned with that stuff. Because efficiency, the ability to produce quickly and high quality quickly, comes with experience. So you shouldn't be worried about doing that right now, because you need to learn. You need to get the experience and maximize as much as experience as you can get for every project you do. And that just takes time. Learning always adds time to a project. If I do a project where I just do everything I know how to do in the most efficient way I know how to do it, I'm going to get done quickly, but I'm not going to learn anything. I'm not going to grow from that project. So I always try to at least have a few elements in every project I do where I'm learning something new. I'm like pushing a texture further than I've gone before, or maybe studying the wrinkles on a particular type of cloth for that project, you know. Always misunderstood artists, yeah, right? Organized education and artists don't really go together. But hey, you did good considering the size and that you're doing using really soft clay. Still looks nice. Yeah, you want real or small scale with yours. That's okay. You're gonna have a different set of challenges when you work on a scale this small, though. So that's okay. Just embrace them and try your best, and you'll learn a lot. You know. All right. Yeah, I mean, the hands look great. The hands look great. The sword looks good. Nice work, my friend. Yeah, yep, exactly. That's the downside. You know, there's it's not like firm clay is just better. It's better for certain things, but worse for other things. If you're trying to like bulk and add a bunch of material and like get a nice smooth form, firm clay is going to be working against you the whole time. But if you have a softer clay, you can get like really nice organic swoops and shapes, and yeah, you can sketch things really quickly. So that's why I use like Chavant for sketching, like doing project sketches, like this one, because I can heat the clay up and get it really soft, so I can just like put a bunch of it on there really quick and just, you know, like move the shape around really fast. And then as it cools down, it gets hard, it hardens up. I'm actually, this evening, I have Mr. Greg, he's a student of mine for one-on-one sessions. We're starting a new project this evening, and I'm adding in the sketching phase into the lesson. So he's gonna go through the whole sketching process with me tonight. This should be pretty exciting. So. Okay, Okami. Did we see Okami? I think we did, right? You just have to let me know, because I know we had a double weekend. Okay, yep, and then Morph, Beer Mug. All right, Lou. We haven't seen Lou. I also finished the second guy. Okay, I also finished the second guy. For him, the hair makes a difference. He's too small, so I just added a marker to point the eyes. I see, okay. Broken foot week. Oh, I see. Your feet look really good. I mean, your sculpture's feet look really good, okay? You did a great job there. Oh, wow, you did a whole surgery. A whole surgery. Awesome. Well, it looks like it was a success. You know, I hope that's something you guys are realizing with this material, that just because something's baked and finished doesn't mean you can't still make changes. You know, don't be afraid to cut into it and break parts and resculpt parts, and there's room for back and forth. So, all right, let's get into the Lou's project here. Let's see. Wow, what an intense fellow. definitely. Man, good job there, Lou. It looks good. He's got his companions with him. I don't know if you're gonna do this, but I've always wanted to play around with... You can just leave those glass frames empty and it'll still sell the idea of glasses. But I've always wanted to try taking glasses frames like that and then doing like a drip, like putting it on like maybe like wax paper or something, and then doing a drip of UV resin to like create a like a lens effect or something. It could end up looking bad though. It might not look that great, but definitely something to consider experimenting with. I see. Awesome. I love the hair. The hair is really fitting. It's got that, you know, bookworm hair for sure. Awesome. There's both of them. Dang, two. You've been busy. Lou's been busy. Great job. Fantastic. Mr. Brightside, this week I got the shirt and vest completed. I was thinking about the hat brim in relation to the bedroll and got sidetracked with placing the accessories. I've got to start on the eyes and beard. What a blast it's been. Can't thank everyone in the cnotbusch kingdom enough. Alright, Mr. Brightside. Alright. That's a lovely pack. Lovely job. Can't stop, yeah. You're hooked. I like the rope. I like the rope. That's a nice touch. Ah, yes. There. Isn't it crazy how much it changes the face of a character when you add a beard and hair and all that stuff? Like this look here compared to, you know, this one. It's like so different. Awesome. Wonderful. Clayton. So many groovy beards. Love it. My guy will get more hat decoration and various smaller details later. Glad to see this fun project come to fruition. Thanks for the lesson and great work, everyone. Yes, let's see what we got here. Ah, yeah. That's a fitting hat. Is that a stamped on texture? It looks like a cloth texture stamp. Awesome. You know, one thing you can do with if you really want to stamp cloth into clay, where you take two pieces of the cloth, you roll a sheet of clay through the pasta machine, and then you put the two pieces of cloth, you sandwich the flat piece of clay in between the two pieces of cloth and roll it through the pasta machine again, and it'll really like stamp it in there. And then you just use that material and like kind of like push it and drape it over your shapes. Something to play around with. So that's what this reminds me of, this real stamped in texture. So awesome. Yeah, he reminds me of like a, just like a, I don't know, like a Western pioneer kind of guy, you know. Oh, like an old prospector, you know, a mountaineer of some sort. It's cool. Even with the vest, that's really fitting. So, yeah, gold prospector. Yeah. Silver and gold he's after. Sapphire. Did we see? I don't think we saw sapphire. Got the beard, eyes, and ears. Still haven't decided what kind of hat, if any, would like to add. Okay. Oh yeah, I think we did. We no, I don't know. I don't know. No, I don't think we did. That's good. That looks nice. Very Gandalf-y, his beard. But you did a good job with the... See these little pockets of depth? That really sells the beard. Really sells it. Yep, Great job. And as you get further to the bottom of the beard, the more the space gets. So more shallow up here and then deeper as you get down. These deeper pockets, just like that. Great job. Nice work there, Sapphire. I know it's easy to get attached to the way things look now, but maybe just try putting a block, sketch it out, you know, and make your decision based on the sketch work, if you even want a hat or not. So, all right, there's the first character that Lou did. Ah, yes. Oh, I like that texture on that vest. Okay, I see some metal mixed media elements. Very, very smart. Awesome. The little chain, the glasses, yeah. All right. Next page. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, there we go. Okay, yep. Alright. Dragon. Okay, we already saw dragon. I think that might be it. Alright, let's go. Let's refresh it and see if there's any new entries. Ah, yes. Keros. No left arm yet. Well, he has spent so much time in the wild that he has grown fungus on his coat. I was wondering, I'll make the nest out of little branches. So do you think it's better to make a slightly sculpted base before adding the branches? Yeah, like you want to bulk it out with something. So you can just make the nest shape out of like foil and then coat it with clay and then glue stuff to that, or you can use foam. You can even use the foam, and you know, foam, and then glue the straw or the branches to the foam. But you want to use some sort of material to create the volume of the nest shape. That way you're not having to get like a million branches to make the nest. So, and then just, you know, using PVA glue and really just gluing the heck out of it is what you're going to want to do. Okay. It's funny because the shape of his nose and everything, just he's almost like bird-like. It's just appropriate for him to be chilling in a nest. Oh, there we go. A little back fungus. No problem. So let's see. If you use foam, like a pink foam, the benefit is you'll be able to like poke things into the foam. Whereas with the clay and the foil, it's gonna be a little bit harder to like stab or poke like pieces into place. So you could even do foam and then do like get all your branches and stuff like that ready, and then you do a layer of the either magic sculpt or sculpt a mold on top, and then as the material's still wet and drying, then you go in and you stick the branches in place, and that'll create like a hard shell structure, and then also glue those branches in place all at the same time. So something to consider. I'd probably yeah and then maybe do it like one half at a time. Don't try to do it all in one go, because you're dealing with something that's drying. So, you know, build the structure out of foam, coat it with like a, you know, half-inch layer of magic sculpt or sculpt the mold, and then stick your material in place. So okay, this is a new one. She-Wolf. Okay, I have not gotten the eyebrows or ears. Last picture is his current state. I got his mustache on. I made like mandrake and ginseng and mushrooms. Okay. I want to do like a path he is walking on, like a muddy path with sand, grass, and rocks. I think I could have done better on his beard. I see I didn't go deep enough. He's baked though. Okay. Yep. But that's okay. You can still, with the paint, see, we can remedy these things with paint. So what you'll do is you'll start with like a really dark color on the beard. And I'll go over this when we get into the paint, but essentially you start with his darkest beard color first, and then you're going to intentionally leave behind a lot of the dark stuff. And you know, when you do the highlighting, it'll look good. So, because I mean, the texture looks great. Looks great as it is. You just have to do a little bit more with the paint to bring out that depth. So that's looking good. I like his basket and the arm. You know, you did a really good job with the anatomy here and making it really look like he's holding something heavy. Yeah. Oh yeah, nice little roots. Those are gonna be in his basket, I imagine. Oh, okay, there's the mustache. Mustachio. Oh, okay, and then you're doing the sculpted base. All right, perfect. Yeah. Now remember, you can still do a layer of, you don't have to sculpt everything like the grass and stuff like that. You can sculpt it, it'll have a different look to it. Or you can leave it just flat and then do, you know, get the shape sculpted in and the pathway, and then you glue on stuff on top. You can even glue on sand on the pathway and stuff like that. So just something to consider. You don't have to, you can sculpt it all in, it'll have a different look, or you can go mixed media on top of the clay. Yeah. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, any other submissions we do? Let's go ahead and do hashtag week 11, and I'm thinking maybe we when we're about to start the painting lesson, we'll go over your guys' final submissions on or just any submissions. I think we'll go over at the beginning of next class. We'll start with that, and then we'll jump into the painting lesson. So you have 2 weeks off, no class. So next Sunday and the one after, and then we start the painting. Okay. And the things you need to get is you need to get the paints, whatever paints you're going to use. I have what I'm going to use, and you can get the same one or you can get different ones. And some brushes, some sort of a cup to put water in, paper towels, you know. What else do you need? If you want, you can get a varnish, like a matte varnish to seal the paint job. I recommend this stuff right here. This is made by Deco Art. It's a Dura Clear Ultra Matte Varnish. Now this has to be painted on, or you have to use an airbrush to apply it. I usually use an airbrush. And then get a semi-glossy varnish too, or a glossy. Get a matte varnish and a glossy varnish, so you can like spray the whole thing with matte varnish and then go back in and add like glossiness to the eyes and anything you want to look shiny. There's a spray can varnish that you can use called Dull Coat, Dullcoat, and it's made by Testors, which is really good. It's not as matte finished as this one is, but it's, if you don't have an airbrush, it's really great for just taking it outside and spraying it really quick and sealing the paint job. So, but can I prime my sculpt before the paint set? You can prime it, but it's not required. One of the great things about this material, or this clay, is that it just takes paint really well. It doesn't need a prime. It doesn't need to be primed. But I will say, if you guys are working on your pieces and you notice an area that you're always touching or grabbing is getting a little bit on the shiny side, that you need to kind of clean that area off before we do the painting. And you can use alcohol or acetone to just wipe that area off. So just take a rag, get some of the 90% alcohol on there, and just kind of clean off that area. So that way the oils, you know, from your fingers don't stop the paint from sticking. So, is varnish needed? Not technically, it's not needed. No, the paint does really hold up on its own really well. The varnish is just another layer of protection, and it's also a way to kind of control the shininess of your piece. So you can do so much with the shininess level of your projects, where you can make different materials look like they're made out of different things. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not needed, but it can just only help if you have a matte varnish and a glossy varnish. I will say, if you get something different than what I'm using, please test it out first before you use it on your projects, because there's a lot of varnishes out there that will react with polymer clay, and then they like stay sticky and they never dry. The varnish doesn't yellow. No, not if you get a good varnish. There's like yeah, just do the research, you know, look things up. And I recommend, like I said, this stuff right here. Deco, it's made by Deco Art Dura Clear Ultra Matte. They also make a glossy varnish. This is one I've had for a long time. As you can see, the bottle's pretty wrecked. There's a Liquitex varnish. Does the UV resin yellow? I don't know. I don't know if it does. I know if usually when resin's yellow, it does take a long time, but let's see if I have any other varnishes. And then there's that dull coat. It's like comes in a half can. That might be the easier method for you guys. Get some dull coat and just spray the whole thing when it's done. So 3 weeks from today. Yeah, let me look at the calendar here. Let me check the calendar. So today, okay, so then we have the 31st is off. 7th is off. The 14th, so April 14th will be the next class, and that's when we'll do painting. That gives us all enough time to, it gives me specifically enough time to finish. You guys don't have to finish your work. Don't stress yourself out about trying to finish it. I have to finish mine though, so that way I can demonstrate the painting. So that gives me the time to do that. So, okay. All right, let's see here. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. It's been a wonderful, wonderful class. I really, really love seeing all your guys' work, and you're doing such a good job. So it's awesome. It's exciting and it's awesome. Let's see here. I think we got a sub from Tactical Overkill during the stream today. Thank you very much there, Tactical. Appreciate that. Oh, okay, I didn't miss anything else. All right, good. That's good. Okay, let's find someone to raid, and I'm getting out of here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, not that many folks on today. Oh, let's go raid. Miniatures Den is on. Let's go raid him. Get you guys warmed up for some painting by checking out one of the greatest painters. One of the greatest. All right. Till next time, my friends. Bye-bye.